Nigeria, Africa's most populous nation and its largest economy, is often described as a paradox, a land blessed with immense natural and human resources, but cursed with a deeply entrenched culture of corruption that has eroded its potential for decades. While the country boasts vast oil reserves, a youthful and entrepreneurial population, and a strategic position in West Africa, systemic corruption has stymied its growth, widened inequality, and undermined public trust in leadership. Roads remain unpaved, schools are underfunded, and hospitals struggle with inadequate equipment, even as billions of dollars vanish into the pockets of a privileged few. For the average Nigerian, corruption is not an abstract concept but a daily reality. It manifests in the form of bribes demanded for basic services, inflated contracts that deprive communities of essential infrastructure, and government budgets that rarely translate into tangible improvements in living standards. Meanwhile, a political elite enjoys the spoils of stolen wealth, stashed in offshore accounts, used to acquire luxury properties in global capitals, or spent on lavish lifestyles that mock the struggles of ordinary citizens. While numerous efforts have been made, both domestically and internationally, to tackle corruption, they have largely fallen short. Nigerian anti-corruption agencies, such as the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, and the Independent Corrupt Practices Commission, ICPC, have faced formidable challenges, including political interference, inadequate funding, and the sheer sophistication of corruption networks. Globally, initiatives to crack down on illicit financial flows have often been undermined by loopholes in the international financial system. However, a new and unexpected challenge has emerged on the global stage: former U.S. President Donald Trump's sweeping anti-corruption policies. These measures, designed to dismantle the financial networks that facilitate illicit wealth transfers, could have profound implications for Nigeria's political and economic landscape. While controversial and far-reaching, these policies have the potential to address the systemic roots of corruption in Nigeria, offering a glimmer of hope for the millions of Nigerians yearning for change. Trump's anti-corruption measures represent one of the most aggressive international efforts to combat kleptocracy and financial crime. They aim to close the loopholes that have long allowed corrupt officials to launder money, evade accountability, and safeguard their fortunes abroad. The policies focus on several key areas. Under these policies, banks and financial intermediaries are required to report suspicious transactions involving foreign officials. These measures aim to shine a light on the shadowy networks used to move illicit funds. For years, anonymous shell companies have served as vehicles for money laundering, allowing corrupt individuals to hide their identities and the origins of their wealth. New regulations aim to eliminate this anonymity. Real estate, private jets, yachts, and other high-value assets purchased with stolen funds are being targeted for seizure, disrupting the lavish lifestyles of corrupt officials. Individuals implicated in corruption face travel bans, asset freezes, and exclusion from the global financial system, cutting them off from traditional havens of refuge. These measures are designed to dismantle the systems that enable corruption on a global scale. For Nigeria's political elite, who have long exploited these systems to launder stolen wealth, the stakes are extraordinarily high. The policies threaten to upend decades of financial secrecy and impunity, forcing a reckoning that could reshape the nation's political and economic future. To understand the potential impact of Trump's policies, it is essential to examine Nigeria's long and troubled history with corruption. Since gaining independence in 1960, the country has struggled to build a transparent and accountable political system. Early post-independence governments were plagued by allegations of nepotism and mismanagement, setting the stage for the military coups that would dominate much of Nigeria's political history. The 1970s and 1980s saw the rise of Nigeria as a major oil producer, but instead of bringing prosperity, the oil boom became a source of corruption and conflict. Successive military regimes looted public funds with impunity, often stashing their wealth in foreign accounts. Among the most notorious examples is the case of General Sani Abacha, Nigeria's military dictator from 1993 to 1998, who is estimated to have stolen between $3 billion and $5 billion during his rule. Decades later, much of the Abacha loot remains unrecovered, symbolizing the challenges of repatriating stolen assets. In the post-military era, democratic governments have fared little better. Despite promises of reform, corruption scandals have continued to dominate headlines. From inflated contracts in the oil and gas sector to missing funds in government projects, the scale of corruption has remained staggering. In 2022 alone, it was estimated that Nigeria lost over $15 billion to oil theft, highlighting the systemic nature of the problem. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who took office amid significant economic and political challenges, now finds himself at the center of this storm. His administration has already faced public backlash over its decision to remove fuel subsidies, a move that, while economically necessary, has exacerbated inflation and deepened public discontent. With a struggling economy and widespread poverty, Tinubu's government is under immense pressure to deliver results. The introduction of Trump's anti-corruption policies adds a new layer of complexity. Tinubu himself is no stranger to allegations of financial impropriety. Questions surrounding his wealth, alleged ties to offshore accounts, and past controversies have dogged his political career. As international agencies begin to enforce stricter financial transparency laws, these allegations could resurface, putting Tinubu in an uncomfortable spotlight. The stakes for his administration are monumental. Tinubu faces a critical choice: align with global anti-corruption efforts, risking alienation from key political allies implicated in corruption, or resist these changes, further damaging Nigeria's reputation and standing in the international community. Either path carries significant risks, but the decisions made in the coming months could define his presidency. If implemented effectively, Trump's anti-corruption measures could mark a turning point for Nigeria. By targeting the global systems that facilitate money laundering, these policies could disrupt the networks that have enabled corruption to thrive. The recovery and repatriation of stolen funds could inject billions of dollars back into the Nigerian economy, providing a much-needed boost to critical sectors such as education, healthcare, infrastructure, and social welfare. Moreover, these measures could empower Nigeria's anti-corruption institutions, such as the EFCC and ICPC, to act with greater independence and authority. Historically, these agencies have struggled to prosecute high-profile cases due to political interference and limited resources. International support could provide them with the tools, legitimacy, and backing needed to pursue even the most powerful individuals. On the global stage, a successful anti-corruption campaign could transform Nigeria's image. For years, the country has been perceived as a hub of corruption, a label that has deterred foreign investors and weakened diplomatic ties. Rebuilding trust with the international community could open the door to increased foreign investment, partnerships, and economic opportunities. There is also the risk of selective enforcement. Anti-corruption measures could be weaponized for political purposes, targeting specific individuals or groups while allowing others to escape scrutiny. Such practices would undermine the legitimacy of these efforts and risk further entrenching corruption. As Nigeria stands at this critical juncture, the decisions made in the coming months will shape the country's future for generations. Trump's anti-corruption policies offer an unprecedented opportunity to address systemic corruption, but their success will depend on the strength of their enforcement, the cooperation of international financial institutions, and the willingness of Nigeria's leadership to take decisive action. For the 200 million Nigerians dreaming of a brighter future, this moment represents a glimmer of hope. Will Nigeria's leaders rise to the occasion and seize this opportunity, or will they succumb to the same patterns that have held the nation back for decades? The world is watching, and the stakes could not be higher. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for more updates on stories that matter. Share this to spread the word. Together, we can make a difference.